everybody, welcome to another episode of Talk the Talk. Today I'm driving Michael's 1992 FD RX7. So this RX7 here is actually chassis number 6 of the Australian delivered ones. Chassis number 1 to 3 were actually test mules. So this particular one here was the third complied one that was Australian delivered. I actually met Michael because he was a potential buyer for my LS3 converted Supra. Came to have a look at a car, drove it, could really appreciate what I'd done to it, the actual swap itself, really loved it, but wasn't for him ultimately. So Michael's RX7 from a previous owner has been sprayed in a colour based off competition yellow. Now competition yellow wasn't actually offered as a factory colour for the Australian delivered RX7s, but it was for the US market and also for the JDM market. And me being a lover of yellow cars myself, I think this really makes it pop and you can really appreciate all the beautiful lines that this car has to offer. Now those of you that aren't familiar with the RX family of cars, they have a rotary engine, which unlike a conventional engine, it's actually got no pistons. To put it simply, it's a triangle within an oval or a circle rotating around. Here's a little diagram video here to kind of explain it so it makes sense to you a little bit more. To run this car, when Michael fills up, he puts 2-stroke oil into the actual fuel. What that does is help lubricate the engine, but one of the downsides to it is that you always have to be on the throttle to lubricate the engine. So if you're coasting around, you chuck it in neutral so that you make sure you're not doing any damage to it. And if you're downshifting and engine braking, you make sure that you blip the throttle or you heel toe so that you're not actually drying out the seals, because that's actually one of the issues that are very common with these cars. Love that flutter. That's one of the issues that is very common with these cars, as I was saying. Dries up the seals, damages them, and you pretty much have to do a rebuild, which isn't cheap and isn't fun. So this car here, it's actually got a button clutch, which is a little bit of a pain in the ass to get a hang of. Luckily, I haven't actually stalled it yet, so fingers crossed I don't do it now. Not too bad. These Bride racing seats, they're actually so tight. You may have remembered Leon's MX-5 that I went to drive. I thought they were bad. I've probably put on a little bit of weight since then, but these ones really hug ya. It's actually really difficult to get in the car, but luckily enough, this steering wheel actually flips up and allows a little bit of leg room for you to actually get in. So performance-wise, for modifications to the engine, this car has actually been bridge ported, which is kind of similar to putting a cam into an engine that's not factory. Changes where the power band is, gives it a bit more power as well. Where this one here, before about 4 grand, you really don't have much power at all. And after that, it really starts to come alive. Another reason why you don't have power till around 4 grand in this car is it's been converted to a single turbo, the setup. From factory, it has a twin turbo setup, but now it's running a TO4 turbo. And although it is very, very laggy, once it comes on, it's fun, a lot of fun. Supporting mods that it has on top of the Bridgeport is a larger front mount intercooler, full exhaust system, and it's running pump fuel. It's currently making 302 rear wheel kilowatts, or in horsepower torque, that's 405 rear wheel horsepower, and it's making 450 Nms of torque. So in case you didn't hear me, 450 Nms of torque, and this is at 16 PSI of boost. So sorry if I'm repeating myself a little bit or screaming into the microphone here, but this car, I'm cruising now around 2700 RPM with my foot on the throttle. I can barely hear myself think, and I'm trying to concentrate on a style of car that I've never actually driven before. But let's get into it and let's have a little bit of fun with this toy. Whoa. The back end wants to kick out a little bit, but as soon as it comes on, it's pretty crazy. These tires handle it pretty well, the road, but when you're bringing it on all at once, it really comes in aggressive, and you got to really respect it. You can't go too crazy with this thing all at once, otherwise it's just going to end up being a bad day, and really, unless you're on the track, you shouldn't be going full on anyway. Now we're in first gear, about 4 grand. Let's just give it hell and see what she's like. I've been given permission, always ask first. Now let's spank it. Oh, when it comes on boost, it's exhilarating. Before that, nothing. It's like a Corolla, but if you're holding it at about 4,000 RPM, then you give it some, it just smiles all the way. 4 to 8, it's the best. Oh, there's so much vibration that you get through the cabin as well when you actually pass that 6 grand mark, and it feels like you're doing something really naughty when you're actually passing by there. This baby revs all the way out to 8 grand. Different tunes and stuff like that with the Rotary. The sky's pretty much a limit, and different modifications that you do to it. You can get them revving crazy, but even this, the whole cabin's just vibrating, it's shaking. Oh, this is crazy. It's so light as well. Pretty much wherever you point it, it goes. Not feeling much body rolling in it at all either. It's just very nice, very planted. Feels like it wants to cut loose just slightly. But again, if you're not giving it throttle around the corner, you should be all in the clear. As you're exiting it, you just give it some. As soon as that 300 rear wheel kilowatts kicks in, it is absolutely awesome. And in this cabin, I said it with the MX-5, something about small Mazdas, it is like you're in a go-kart. You're planted, you're sitting on top of it, you can see all the road all around you. You try to twist your head around in the bride seat, it feels like you're gonna snap your neck. But the actual clear vision ahead of you is great. These A-pillars aren't too thick, great field of vision. And whatever you see, it's coming up fast as soon as you hit that boost. Down to second, cruise around here. And actually, let's just pop it in a bit of a high gear. We're in 4th gear. It's subtle, it's tame. We're doing 2,500 revs. Back to 3rd. Now, 3rd gear, 3,000 RPM, flat foot. Nothing's happening, but you do get to enjoy a bit of a flutter. Back down, around the hairpin here. Don't want to be an idiot, this isn't my car. Accelerate out of it. This thing is awesome. You get so much feedback from everything as well. It really feels like you're actually driving this car. Always say it, new cars are very impressive. Coming in a little bit quick. Always say it, new cars are very impressive, but a lot of them, unless they're crazy, top of the line, you tend to not really feel how fast you're going. Speedo's going up, but you're not enjoying it. You pretty much got to be speeding, doing something illegal to have fun. This one here, windy road, stick to the speed limit, and you can enjoy yourself. At the end of the day, you've had some fun. You haven't been going around 200 k's an hour, risking everybody's life, but a spirited drive is always nice, and 90s JDM, they just get it right all the time. Can you hear those noises? Can you hear the flutters, the vibration, the screaming? It's crazy, it's like a house of horrors in here. You don't know where your ears are going, where your eyes are going. There's so much theatre to this thing. There's so much fun. I'm tapping the brakes and it's stopping. I'm steering the wheel and it's steering. I'm accelerating and it's going. Woo! If there's such thing as too much fun, I think I'm experiencing it right now. Oh man, if any of you guys out there get the opportunity to drive something like this, just go for it. Accept the keys, accept the responsibility, rev it up, drop a gear, get it by the scruff of the neck, and just have a ball. This thing, oh my God. This thing is on the tipping point of too much fun. This is absolutely awesome. Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much.
G'day, my name is Michael. This is my 1992 Mazda RX7. It's a Series 6 with the full Series 8 conversion, all genuine parts. What got me, I guess, into rotaries wasn't specifically RX7s in general. For me, it was always this particular shape. I love this styling of the FD. Taking nothing away from SAs and of course FCs, love them as well, but this one, specifically in yellow, was the dream car that I've always wanted. In terms of modifications, this one currently just sitting on some Blitz coilovers. I redid all the brakes. Engine's bridge ported and has a big single turbo, TO4R. In terms of future plans, I'm very happy with the way it is now. It's basically got all the mods that I've always wanted to do, and it's putting down just over 400 horsepower to the wheels, tuned by Checker Tuning. Big shout out to Trent and Kat, awesome business that you guys run. And future plans for this particular car, I'm very happy with the way it is. It's always been my dream car, and I'm probably going to leave it alone. Eventually I might get some Liam.M Quantum coilovers, which are a lot more than the Blitz ones, but these work just fine on the street. When you were younger, you probably don't think about practicality and drivability. So the Bridgeport and the big single really move the power band up, so it sort of lurches a little bit when you're driving around at low speeds. But wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world. Love it the way it is.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Talk the Talk. Thanks heaps for joining me, guys. Today was exhilarating. It was heaps and heaps of fun. Once again, thank you, Michael. To you guys out there as well. Strap yourself in, because soon we're going to be reviewing his 300ZX and maybe another toy or two that he has laying around that he can share with us. Until next time anyway, drive safe, enjoy yourselves, and I'll catch you around.